Yo. Before I kick on with this video, if I pause this video a lot, um, it's because our cat currently, is deciding to run up and down the stairs like a maniac. So if I have to keep pausing it, it's because I'm just making sure that he's not doing anything stupid, because yeah, he's one of those cats that likes to climb stuff and thinks he's Spider-Man. So if there's loads of pauses in this video, I'm sorry, but that's why. But anyways, guys, as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, I am going to be doing my Smackdown review for last night's Smackdown. I used to, literally straight after watching Raw or Smackdowns, film the reviews, but because I live in the UK and Smackdown finishes at 4 and then Raw finishes at 3:30, I'm too late to like film it, because it's like obviously late at night, and the energy of talking about it just isn't there as much, and I just feel like it's better to film it on the next day, because technically the same day, because obviously for me it was on a few hours ago, but for everyone else it was actually last night, so it's confusing. But technically I'm filming this on the same day as SmackDown, but technically I'm filming it the next day. It's weird, but yeah, so now I'm gonna start filming them the next day, pretty much the same day, however you want to look at it. But last night's SmackDown was decent. Like, I feel like it was a very high decent. There was a few moments in SmackDown where some stuff went wrong, and it was a bit lackluster in some moments, but like, I don't know, I didn't find it to be absolutely terrible. Like, nowhere near did I find it to be awful, but it wasn't great. I have given it though a 4 out of 5, but it's a low 4 out of 5, if you can see that there. Because all segments were at least like a 3 or a 4, so I couldn't really give it a 3 out of 5, because I felt like the whole show overall was pretty decent. Well, smack good, I'd say, because if you used to watch Wrestle Talk, you'll know they used to use like Rawsome, Smack Good, Rawful, and all that. That's what I use now. But I thought it was Smack Good, but it was a very low Smack Good. But I don't feel it was Smack Alright, because all matches and segments were like at the top of decent. So I just couldn't personally give it a 3 out of 5. It was very close. If we had a lot more segments that were like a 2 out of 5 and we didn't have any 4 out of 5s, then yeah, it would have been a 3 out of 5 SmackDown. But because we had like loads of 3 out of 5s and a few 4 out of 5s, I have given it like a low 4 out of 5 for the last night's SmackDown. But yeah, we kicked off the show with Damien and Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. It was only literally like 2 minutes. Damien pushed Solo, I think, and then they started arguing, and then LA Knight come from behind, and then spoke about something. Can't remember what he said, but then his music hit. He done a segment on that he should be United States champion, #1 contender right now, but he's not, because of Damian Priest, which doesn't really make any sense, because technically it was because of Solo Sikoa, which is literally what Damian Priest came out and said. So like, pretty much both of them were going back and forth on why LA Knight wasn't the #1 contender and why he should be, and this is why, and Damien saying this is why he's not, LA Knight was saying this is why he's not, and then they started saying stuff to each other and almost causing an issue between each other. So they decided, instead of Damien Priest versus LA Knight in the main event, they decided to have that match at the beginning of the show. That's pretty much what the segment was. It's just them both going back and forth on why LA Knight's not the #1 contender. And yeah, it was a decent segment. Like, it wasn't amazing or good. It was like decent. Like, It was like a 3 out of 5 like segment, because the promos by both of them were pretty decent, and it was just overall the whole thing, including the Jacob Solo and Damon Priest at the beginning, just made it a 3 out of 3, 3 out of 3, 3 out of 5. But there isn't much to talk about really about that segment. And then we got onto the match between LA Knight and Damian Priest. The beginning and middle of the match was really enjoyable to watch, and then towards the end I just felt like they were like really like slow. Like I don't know what happened, but both of them just, it kind of looked like both of them didn't know what move they had to do next, because of how, like, they knew what move to do next, but they made it look like they didn't, because of how like tired and slow and weird they were moving. I don't know, like the ending of that match before Solo attacked Damien, I just felt it was a bit like weird. Like they just felt really like slow, and just felt like they both didn't want to be in the match anymore. That's kind of what it like looked like and felt like. But yeah, no, it was a weird match. Like the beginning and the middle of the match was like brilliant, but then yeah, the ending was just odd. Like I don't know what happened with the ending, on how they were just moving like they didn't want to be there pretty much. But yeah, as I said, then Solo got involved, attacked Damian Priest. The referee saw that Solo attacked Damian Priest. Then Solo was about to Samoan Spike LA Knight, and Damian Priest grabbed his hand, and then forearmed him. They started attacking Solo Sikoa, and then Jacob Fatu came out and done a like dive onto, I don't think you can say the word on YouTube, but you know that dive that it's called, onto, I think it was LA Knight, and then attacked Damien, I think, or something. I don't actually know what happened with Damien, because I don't know how, I don't actually recall how LA got onto the side for them. Oh, I know. They were going to powerbomb. That's it. They were going to powerbomb Solo Sikoa onto the ring announcer's desk. But then Jacob Fatu out of nowhere come flying down and done his dive onto either LA or Damien. I think it was LA Knight. And then Damien and Jacob, I think, started brawling. And then I'm pretty sure that Damien and LA Knight stood tall, because they were like eyeing each other up. Or that was before the situation where they were going to powerbomb. Oh no, yeah, it was, yeah, sorry, it was, they were both eyeing each other up, and then they were going to powerbomb Solo Sikoa on into the announce table. Jacob Fatu came flying, done his dive onto LA Knight, I think, then all on Damian Priest, and then him and Jacob and LA started brawling, or Damien and Jacob started brawling, and then Jacob stood tall. That's how that whole segment at the end happened. I got there in the end. Once things started clicking in my head, I was like, oh wait, hang on, no, that happened there. And then it starts to click, and then I'm able to actually say what actually happened. But yeah, obviously I've slept on Smackdown. Like, obviously Smackdown was last night, but I've slept, so trying to remember what happened can be a bit confusing sometimes. But yeah, next we had Pretty Deadly versus Fraction. This match was, oh, hang on, I need to make sure my brother doesn't let my cat in. I'll be right back. Sorry guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, if there is a few pauses, that's because I'm just making sure that my cat pretty much, well, our cat currently doesn't escape into the outside, because yeah, he's only 8 months old. And if you can hear any rustling, it's because he is in my room but is under my bed. So if you hear any rustling, that's why. But anyways, like I was about to say, the second match of the night, we had Pretty Deadly versus Fraction. The match was really good. Like, I'm sorry, I keep tearing my hair. Oh, he's out now. The match at the beginning and middle was really good, and then yeah, no, sorry guys, I'm gonna have to. I'll be back. Sorry guys. Again, I'm so sorry guys. We should be good now. We should be good. Yeah, so we had a match between Pretty Deadly and Fraction. It's Fraction's second match on the main roster. And they've already messed up, which is not great. I know it was by accident, but it's not good when that happens in a match. But the match at the beginning and the middle was going so well, like such a good tag team, just a classic tag team wrestling match between Pretty Deadly, who are quite underrated actually, because they're actually quite pretty good in the ring, but don't get to show as much as the other tag teams are on Smackdown. But anyways, and Fraction are absolutely incredible in the ring. But at the end, Nathan Frazier done, I think it was like not a 450 splash from the top rope, but I think he done it like a standing up 450 splash, I'm pretty sure. And you see his elbow like go gash Elton straight onto the lip, and he immediately goes like this, and you see Kit Wilson try and stop the pin, but I don't think that's what he was meant to do. I think he was, you know, when sometimes the tag team partners try and about to stop the pin, but they kick out at the last second. I think that's what was meant to happen, but because he was so flustered, if that's the right word, that he got gashed open, and there was blood everywhere, all over his bottom lip, all over his chin. It was everywhere. That I think he just completely forgot to kick out. So the referee counted to 3, but she had to act as if it was like a 2.99 because Elton got hit. Not Elton. Not yeah. Well, yeah, Elton. I don't know. That's his name, isn't it? Elton, Prince, and Kit Wilson. Yeah, Elton got his shoulder up, but he didn't. So it kind of messed up that whole like match, and everybody I think got really flustered and confused because obviously Kit Wilson wasn't meant to stop the pin, but because Elton didn't kick out, it made it look like Kit Wilson was supposed to stop the pin. Elton didn't kick out because he was flustered that he was cut open quite badly, and was literally gushing everywhere. And then Nathan was confused because obviously Elton was supposed to kick out but didn't, so he was like, that was a break. What do we do? And they had to just play it on as if hopefully the audience, I know we did see it, but the audience hopefully didn't see that Elton didn't kick out, and they made it look like Elton did kick out, but he didn't. Because on TV you can clearly see that no one stops the pin. Elton doesn't kick out. She does count to 3. So it was a bit of a messy moment in the match, but I'm not going to blame the referee. I'm not going to blame Kit Wilson, Nathan Frazier, or Elton Prince. It was generally, I think, because he got cut open, he just completely forgot that he was supposed to kick out because he was panicking, because obviously you don't know what's happened, because he might have broken his jaw, or his lip might have just busted open. He didn't know what's happening. All he can feel is that there's blood all over his chin. So I think it messed up the match, but I can't blame Nathan Frazier for getting him, because he's done that move for his whole career since he joined WWE. So sometimes it happens. Sometimes it moves that are just simple moves that can slightly be over, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, sometimes they do a move and they're supposed to land on their like bottom half of their opponent. Sometimes by accident they land on the top half of the opponent and end up either breaking their nose or cutting their lip open or busting their eye open. And sometimes even with knee kicks, you can be kicking them in the chest, and then the wrestler, whoever is getting kicked in the chest, thinks that this is the last one, so they like bend down and then they end up getting kicked in the nose. It unfortunately it happens. It happens in wrestling. So I can't blame like any of them. Like any of them didn't do any wrong. In the referee was obviously counting because that was the point. Nathan was supposed to pin Elton and Elton was supposed to kick out, but was panicking about his lip being busted open or whatever was busted open, that he just forgot to kick out, so the referee had to just pretend that he didn't. So, and then Kit Wilson wasn't meant to make the save. Like he wasn't. I thought he was meant to make the save, but he wasn't. It was, like I said, one of those ones where he was about to make the save, but then his partner kicks out like 2.99 seconds kind of thing. But obviously, it didn't go like that because of Elton's injury. So I think they had to change the match because Elton was bleeding all over, and it wouldn't stop. And I think because it was a chin injury, I think he just couldn't carry on. I mean, I don't know if that was the ending. I don't know if it was supposed to go on for a little bit longer or they swapped it. But I think they did kind of swap a little bit. Because I think Elton was just panicking too much. Obviously, when Drew McIntyre got gashed open, he's Drew McIntyre, so he just didn't give a fuck and just carried on doing what he was doing because it's Drew. But I think Elton panicked, so I think they had to. I think he made the decision that he wanted to come out of the match. So I think they skipped whatever was supposed to happen during that time frame and skipped it straight to Kit Wilson just pretty much taking the pin. And then Nathan done his finishing move, the 450 splash, and landed on Kit Wilson's face. Like you see his whole forearm, like the bottom of his forearm, like here, land on like this part of his eye. So I think he's gonna have to get rid of that finisher because he's gonna end up really injuring somebody at this point because he keeps. That's twice in that match now where he's done a 450 kind of splash and injured one person and almost injured the other. So I think he needs to change his finisher move to something else because he's going to end up really either hurting himself or hurting another wrestler, and that's just not what you want for your resume. You don't want to be looked at as someone that could potentially injure somebody with their finishing move, because that's just not a good look. It's just not. He's not going to go. They're not going to go far as a tag team if he keeps his finishing move and then he keeps almost injuring somebody with it or injure someone with it, because he landed really funny on Kit Wilson as well. But other than the shenanigans that happened, unfortunately, in that match, at the end, the match was pretty decent from the beginning to the middle. So yeah, it was a decent match, but unfortunately, shit happens in WWE and things go wrong. Next segment I'm going to talk about is the Nia, Tiffany, Naomi, and Jade segment / brawl. Obviously Nia came out, said that she's wants her women's championship back. I swear I just heard knocking. God's sake, guys, hang on. I think it was knocking, but yeah. Anyways, Nia pretty much demanded that she is the number 1 contender for the women's championship, and wants her championship back. Tiffany came out and said that I will beat you again, because she's beat Nia before, so she can beat her again. And then Naomi came out and done a promo about how when Nia and Tiffany were a team, they made Naomi's life a living hell, and Naomi should be in the title picture. And then Jade Cargill's music hit. Tiffany and Nia started brawling. Naomi and Jade started brawling again, and then that set up the main event tag team match between Nia Jax and Naomi versus Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton in the main event of SmackDown instead of what was meant to be the main event of SmackDown, LA Knight versus Damian Priest. But overall, the in-ring promo segment was like decent. Again, not a segment, another segment that wasn't at a 4 or 5 level out of 5. It was a 3 out of 5. It was decent. It wasn't very long. And not much was said between all three of them, so it was decent. And the brawl, it also wasn't very long. So overall, the whole segment was, yeah, decent. And then we had The Miz versus Aleister Black in his re-debut match on the main roster for SmackDown, because obviously he was previously in AEW, and now he is back in a WWE ring. The match was really good, but I do feel like it was 80% The Miz, which is a bit weird considering that this was Aleister Black's return match to WWE, and 80% of that match, apart from the ending, was The Miz. I feel like it should have been the other way around, considering it was Aleister Black's return. I feel like it should have been mainly dominated by Aleister, but The Miz got a few moves in here and there. But instead it was the other way around. The Miz dominated Aleister, apart from a few bits here and there in the ending. So I definitely do feel like it should have been the other way around. But other than that, it was a really good match. And this time he actually hit The Miz in the chin. Because if you look at the return of his comeback to WWE, he hit like The Miz like here, I think it was, like just like on the side here. But this time he actually got him in the face. So the Black Mist actually hit properly this time, which is an absolute insane looking move. Because him spinning and just his leg just fucking going so high up to get the wrestler in the face is just crazy. But no, the match was a very good for his returning match. Like I said, the only negative I have that I feel like it should have been 80% Aleister Black and 20% The Miz instead of 80% The Miz, 20% Aleister Black, because Aleister Black not really having the upper hand for the majority of the match kind of made Aleister look a little tiny bit weak, like a little tiny bit, which is not what you want for someone that's returned to the WWE. But other than that, it was decent. I definitely think we're going to have, this is going to be Aleister Black's like first rivalry. Is going to be The Miz and Carmella Hayes for a bit, and then he'll go on to something else. But yeah, I definitely think this is his start rivalry, which I can't complain, because The Miz is incredible in the ring and incredible to work with as well. And then Carmella Hayes is also incredible in the ring, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see Aleister Black versus Carmella Hayes, possibly next week on Friday Night SmackDown. Hopefully, because I'd love to see that match. I think that match would be incredible. The next segment that happened on SmackDown I want to talk about is the Solo and Jacob Fatu segment backstage, where Solo feels that Nick Aldis is trying to damage Jacob Fatu and put him in these situations where he's going to lose his United States Championship. But then when Jacob Fatu left and Solo stayed, Nick Aldis was like, "You're putting him in these sticky situations." And Solo kind of had a look on his face where he is like doing this on purpose. He's purposefully trying to make Jacob defend his title in matches where there's more opponents than just one. And it is, by his reaction, it is making me wonder, is Solo going to cost Jacob Fatu the United States Championship next Saturday? Because we got the match announced that it's going to be Jacob Fatu defending his United States Championship against Damian Priest, LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. They did announce it at the Triple Threat, and then Solo said that Drew McIntyre should be the number one contender, and because Solo said that, they then made it a fatal 4-way, which I'm glad about. But is Solo Sikoa gonna get involved? Because his reaction to Nick Aldis saying that kind of was a little bit suspicious. So I have a slight feeling that Solo's going to get involved and cost Jacob the championship. I don't know who he will cost it to. Is LA going to take it back? Is Damien going to win it? Is Drew going to win it? I don't know, but I have a slight inkling that Solo's going to cost Jacob his United States Championship, and then that's going to start the rivalry, possibly leading to SummerSlam between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. But I'm kind of hoping it doesn't happen, because I kind of want to see Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship. But I really do have a feeling that they're going to give the United States Championship to someone else, maybe an LA Knight, LA Knight or Drew or Damien or even somebody else. And then Jacob's going to have no championship and just face Solo in a just no championship one-on-one match rivalry. But I don't know. I kind of want to see it for the belt, but I'll be down for it either way, because I would love to see Jacob and Solo like face each other and have a rivalry, because I feel like that would be a really good rivalry. But I would prefer it with the championship belt, but I wouldn't mind it if it's not, I guess. But overall, that whole mini segment was again decent. Yeah, and then we had this is obviously not what happened on Smackdown, and then this is it. Obviously, I'm only speaking about the bits that I want to speak about. I have wrote everything that I want to speak about. But yeah, the next segment I want to speak about is the Randy Orton segment. Pretty much, he just done a in-ring promo, which was a really incredible in-ring promo about the fact that John Cena has shown his true colours, and then obviously the reason that he didn't want children is because he's been parenting your children for however long he's been doing it, and he's pretty much saying that he's not the real last champion, and how dare he try and get rid of the Orton name when it comes to obviously being a part of that belt that John Cena is holding, because he wants to John Cena's holding because he keeps saying that he's the last real champion, and he's gonna take this belt and nobody's gonna have this belt ever again, and he's gonna deliver the most dangerous words in WWE history, RKO, and he also said that he wants to punt the shit out of John Cena. Pretty much, it was pretty much just Randy being annoyed and slightly giving us legend killer Randy Orton, because he said that John Cena's a living legend that he needs to put to the ground pretty much, and that Randy Orton's never has always been himself when John Cena has showed his true colours, kind of thing. But no, it was a really like good segment by Randy Orton, and John Cena was announced to be on the last Friday on SmackDown before Backlash next week. So that's going to be very interesting to see if John Cena stands tall this time with giving Randy Orton an attitude adjustment, or if Randy Orton's going to stand tall again. Because obviously Cody Rhodes standing tall, I think it was 3 times, doesn't mean that you're going to retain the championship. So if Randy Orton stands tall, does that mean he's definitely losing? Or does it now mean he's possibly winning? I don't know now, because normally when the wrestler stands tall, it doesn't normally mean that Cody Rhodes is going to lose, but obviously Cody Rhodes lost. But it kind of started to be kind of, because it did used to be whoever was standing tall at the last show was going to lose, but WWE recently have changed that, where even if you stand tall, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're losing. So it's still a bit of like a confusing one. So if Randy does stand tall again on Friday, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's definitely losing in his hometown. But yeah, so I don't know if Randy Orton's going to win in his hometown or John Cena's going to retain. I'm not going to speak too much on that match because I am going to be doing a back prediction video once hopefully officially the last match on Raw is announced, which potentially is going to be either because obviously Raw's not happening yet, so I'll try and predict what's going to happen in this Smackdown review. It's either going to be Penta versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, or it's going to be Sami Zayn and CM Punk versus Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. So it's either going to be those two matches. I can't think of anybody else that's got a rivalry really going on at the moment. Obviously Io's got a rivalry going on with like Julia and Roxanne and kind of Rhea, but Rhea's in Australia at the moment, so I don't think she'll be back in time for Raw. I mean, she could be, but I think she leaves Australia tonight, so I won't be back till tomorrow. So I don't know if she will be on Raw. She'll probably be quite jet lagged, so I don't know. But we could potentially get Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky at Backlash. That could be the other one, but I feel like it's either going to be Penta versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship, or yeah, like I said, Sami and CM Punk versus Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. So it's going to be either or those two or three. But anyways, and then we got a funny segment between Orton, R-Truth, and Jimmy Uso. R-Truth's pretty much just agreeing with John Cena, even though John Cena turned heel and said that he has broken up with all of us, and R-Truth hasn't clicked on to the fact that John Cena has broke up with R-Truth, and is pretty much saying to Randy Orton that John Cena is the last real champion, because that's what John Cena told him. I kind of do see R-Truth getting involved in their match, you know, and costing Randy Orton. But again, I'm not going to speak too much on that because I'm going to leave that for the Backlash prediction video. But yeah, it's kind of looking like it's going to go that way a little bit. And then Jimmy obviously tried to help R-Truth with telling him what actually he's doing and what actually John Cena's done, but R-Truth's just not clicking onto it. R-Truth is just absolutely incredible. Yeah, so that segment was fun. That probably Randy Orton and that segment was segment of the night. Because R-Truth's just absolutely hilarious, and Randy Orton always delivers brilliant promos. So that was definitely, both those two moments were like segments of the night for me. And then we had, I wasn't sure that I was going to speak about this, but I'm going to slightly speak about it because I do have some opinions on what I believe might be happening. So Santos Escobar had a match with Rey Fenix and lost, and he was mad at Legado del Fantasma, Angel and Humberto, because they didn't come out to help Santos. And then Andrade got involved in their segment, said that Santos doesn't respect Angel and Berto, and then Santos walked off and told Angel and Berto to come along with him. Angel went straight away with Santos, but Berto stayed for like another few seconds, and Andrade said to Berto, he don't respect you, or something like that. He speaks really quietly, so I couldn't really understand what he was saying, but I think he was like, he don't respect you. And then Berto kind of like winked at Andrade, so I think they are setting up Berto to join Andrade, and Andrade help Berto to get like up here, because Berto's incredible in the ring. Like, actually, so is Angel, to be honest. So I feel like both of them should join Andrade instead, and they should work alongside Andrade, because I feel like that would be such a good like chemistry. Andrade like helping these two to like build themselves up in the ring even more. So I feel like that would be incredible if Berto joined Berto joined Andrade first, and then slowly Angel joins Berto and Andrade, I feel like that would be a really good like good chemistry tag team, and it'll be another tag team to possibly add to Raw. Instead of them being on SmackDown, maybe when the draft happens, if we get in the draft, Andrade, Berto, and Angel get moved to Raw, because that would be like quite a good tag team trio to have on Raw. So, because the solo matches that Andrade could have, and then the tag matches that Angel and Berto could have, I feel like that would be just really good chemistry. So I feel like they're slightly going in that direction. So if that happens, I clocked it, and Triple H needs to give me a job. Anyways, the last match and segment that happened on SmackDown was Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi and Nia Jax in the main event of SmackDown. And this was a fantastic tag team match, like absolutely brilliant. Everybody got to showcase their moves. Obviously, at the end of the match, Nia tagged herself in, because earlier on in the match, Naomi deliberately tagged herself in, and that set up Naomi and Nia to kind of have a little bit of turmoil between the both of them, so they just stopped pretty much tagging each other in, and then not Naomi. Nia Jax was about to cannonball Jade Cargill, and then Jade Cargill stood up on the top rope and then power bombed Nia Jax. Obviously didn't hold her for very long, but Nia Jax is obviously one of the bigger women wrestlers in WWE, so even, you know, considering how strong Jade Cargill is, she's going to struggle to obviously hold Nia in the air for like too long, but she done it for a good like 5-6 seconds, and I don't know how she does that, I do not know, but yeah, Jade Cargill and Tiffany picked up the win, and Jade Cargill picked up the belt, held it on her shoulder. It does look pretty good on her, I can't lie. Like, she does suit that belt. She very much does suit that belt. So that's going to be very interesting to see how long it takes her to actually hold that belt. And then they kind of had a tug of war between the belt, and then Naomi from behind attacked Jade Cargill and stood tall with the belt. And then it is announced that Jade Cargill is going to face Nia Jax next week in a #1 contender match, and obviously the winner of that will face Tiffany Stratton probably at Saturday Night Main Event in like 3 weeks time, or no, 4 weeks time, because I think on the 24th of May or 25th of May we've got Saturday Night Main Event, so that probably will set up either Jade Cargill versus Tiffany or Nia Jax versus Tiffany, and I'm kind of hoping though that Naomi gets involved, and then it sets up a fatal 4-way, because Tiffany's obviously only defended her title in one-on-one matches since she's held it, and she's had it for like 5 months now, almost. So I feel like she needs to defend it in matches where there's more people involved. So I'm kind of hoping that Naomi either cost Jade Cargill the match, and then Jade Cargill obviously gets annoyed, and then they set up a fatal 4-way for the women's championship, or Naomi attacks Jade, the referee sees it, causes a disqualification, and then that sets up a brawl between everybody, and then Nick Aldis comes out and sets it up as a fatal 4-way for either that Backlash, because it could happen on Friday Night SmackDown, or something else happens to where the segments between them, both of them, carry on into next week's SmackDown, and then that sets up a fatal 4-way at Saturday Night Main Event. Like, that would be pretty cool to see Tiffany defend it, like I said, in a more multi-person match, so of just a one-on-one match. But yeah, that was the last match of the night and the last thing that I want to talk about. Yeah, like I said, this SmackDown was alright. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like terrible, and like I said at the beginning of this video, I've given it a low 4 out of 5 just for the simple fact that we had a couple of segments that were a 4 out of 5, but we had loads of segments that were 3 out of 5. So if we had loads of segments that were like a 2 out of 5 and segments that were 3 out of 5, then yes, I would have given this Smackdown a 3 out of 5. But based on the fact that we had a couple of 4 out of 5 segments and a lot of 3 out of 5s, I have, yeah, given it a low 4 out of 5. But anyways, guys, that was my Smackdown review. Sorry that I've had to pause it a few times, but it is what it is, I guess. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I do have a video coming out next Wednesday. I'm not going to say what that is, but I do have a video coming out next Wednesday, and obviously I will have my Raw review come out on the Tuesday as well, so look forward to that. But anyways, guys, this has been Charlie, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.